They have discovered that they have more to their land area than what they realize. So today's discovery is a bush. I was cleaning out um, their run today and needed to dump their ice because it's been real hot here in Kentucky. And so they've been having a lot of ice to stand on because, chickens cannot sweat. So the main thing that you can give them when it's hot is to put my ice in their water. And I also create like a little ice pool for them, two different ones. So today is very overcast. Is like the high maybe be about 80, but there's no humidity. And so as I was dumping out their ice, because I tend to take it to the back of their run here, because they also have this outdoor run area, they have not been back here. So today they was like, wait a minute, she's taking our stuff all the way to the back? Okay, well, let's go check it out. And in the meantime, look, they have now discovered that they have a bush that they can now eat and dig up more bugs and just have the field day of their life. They're even discovering more bushes over here to their fencing. And of course, they are inside of electric fencing. But yeah, they are like having the best day ever. Right here, we see Maxine. Right here is Claire. Well, actually, Sinclair, but I call her Claire Bear. And the same thing like with Maxine. I call her Maxie. And she's walking back towards their enclosure because here's their house and then here's their run. So she's kind of heading back that way. But she's also enjoying some of that fresh bush. And then right there, there's Avery. And next to Avery, the black one right there, that is Khadijah. They're named after the living single characters. Um, and then in the bush with my rooster, right back there is Regine. She's peeking out of the bush. And then there's my rooster. Now, the funny story about my rooster is this. When I got him and Claire, there was also another buff Orbiton who we definitely knew was a rooster, but everybody kept saying that Evers right here was a hen. Look at that Regine. Look at Regine going. But back to the story. Evers was a hen, that he was just a big hen. Even when I took him to the vet was even like, oh no, that's a hen. He's just bigger. And I said, okay. But then, literally the next day, him and the rooster, the other buff Orton rooster, both started crowing. I said, well, that is some hen. So his name got changed from Everly to Evers. So he is actually a rooster. And I do have one hen because they are all new. This hen right here, who is Avery, she is actually laying. She is a red star. And turned around, I end up getting her in place of the other rooster because the lady who I got them from, who breeds out all these different breeds, they all came from the same breeder. I was like, no, you can't have two roosters. So she ended up giving me Everly, who is about a month older than Sinclair right here, who's the buff Orbiton. And then right here, you have the black Osterlarp, who is Khadijah. And then this is my Rhode Island Red, who is Maxine, or as I call Maxie. And then back in the very back is the black Copper Moran, and that is Regine. So they are enjoying being out here in their new area that they can actually get around in. But I do have another one that is laying, and because I got the little bitty egg, because when they do start laying, they will lay like little bitty eggs. So day before yesterday is when I got my first egg from the new one that is laying. I'm not really sure because I haven't seen that one lay. Who's giving me that one? But I'm really leaning more towards The black copper moran, considering that her wattles are fuller and her cone is bigger now and red. So I'm beginning to think it's her because then even yesterday when I got another egg, it had gotten bigger and it was starting to get a little bit darker. So I'm curious to see, and it also had like a little speck, which is kind of like from what I've researched, is part of their thing. There she goes. There's Regine. She's a beautiful bird. Um, so in turn, but I'm kind of curious to see who it is that's giving me now the second egg. And so this was supposed to be a hen, and he is all rooster. Evers is rooster. All day, every day. He now crows in the morning to let me know that he is a rooster. But I will say that he does not crow a lot, but they're heading back. They say, here's their little coop. And yes, I do have like the Fort Knox of coops. That's what I am here in Kentucky, so Fort Knox is a good reference. I have Fort Knox, the side of this coop, because originally when I was going to put in their coop area, I was going to take and put this inside of their run. But when I end up getting the run, of course, me not judging, um, the size right, I realized for them to have more than enough room that I could not put their coop inside of their runs. So this is their run enclosure because I am in a city, and so I do have stuff like raccoons and possums. I've actually seen them myself even before the chickens. So we did Fort Knox this side up. The coop originally came with just this lock here and this lock here. And my son and I, we went ahead and put these extra locks on. So it is 5 locks, especially since it's on the outside. We did go ahead and put the hardwire cloth on. And as you'll see, these are the bricks because we put the apron on here as well. It comes out 2 feet, in which some of the grass is now covering it up. But we went ahead and put bricks over the top of that. So you can kind of see that it is um, all hardwire apron down here, all the way down. And we turned around and put in, we lifted this metal um, framing up onto the wood. So their framing sits up. They do have a nice little run space in here. There's their enclosure that is their dust bath, which is just soil, some First 30 lime, which I'm not sponsored by anybody. If you hear me say products, I'm not sponsored. But I put First 30 lime in there, along with food grade diatomaceous earth, and a little bit of the Grubbly. I got it from Grubbly Farms, some of that coop conditioner, which smells really good. And I just kind of mix it in there, and they just love taking dirt baths. And then over here is where they keep their big pool, but they like to also sit up here, especially when it's hot. They will sit up on top of here over the top of the pool so it can still be cool. And then also, too, it gives them a place to kind of just roost up top if they wanted to. This actually came from my garden. This is actually bad. And there's Sinclair in there. And then here's the front of their house. I was gifted this house, so I'm very thankful. And I just repainted it to suit my aesthetics. And then, since it does get hot here, this is from my actual greenhouse, but it's a shade cloth, so the way they can actually have a little bit more shade. But yeah, they are on an electric fence, which is solar powered, and that's just an extra precaution. And I go with, since it has been really hot here, we do the 2 waterers. That is their one of their feed bowls. And then they just have a little bowl over here. I got to go back and buy them a bigger one. At the time, I did this because even though Sinclair and the rooster, Evers, and Obi, because the other rooster's name was Obi, all came together. And then my first 3 right here came together. They always have secluded um, poor little Sinclair from being able to eat. So her. I end up having to establish her water bowl and an extra food bowl over here for her to be able to drink and eat, in which in turn they all still come over there and drink and eat from that. But yeah, that's just their little bucket of grit. I figure I'd just give you a quick little tour so you can kind of appreciate why I'm enjoying them learning to go out and go in the back of that run area. So the way they're not always just inside of their enclosure. But yeah, so they have enjoyed it. They're now ready for me to fill up their food a little bit more because somebody has decided to throw it down off of their bricks. But yeah, thank you for actually, tuning in and kind of seeing what they're doing now. And I will get better about releasing a few more videos when it comes to the chickens and just my garden. You can kind of see the garden is in chaos right now. Actually, we're in the process of change it over for the fall as well. And I have that side of my garden. So we are going to be doing that and growing even more things for them. And thank you, to Seth, for actually tuning in and watching. And I'm going to get back to cleaning out their run and getting them some extra treats and snacks for today. All right, guys. Till the next one. Bye. How you doing?